Hey everyone, Jason here from Enthusiast Gaming, coming at you through PlayStation Enthusiast, and today we're going to be reviewing the PlayStation VR, just the hardware. I'm going to be reviewing all, well not all of them, but a lot of launch titles in a separate video. There's going to be 15 of them, but today we're just going to be looking at the hardware of what PlayStation VR is. So PlayStation in Canada were the ones who lent us this unit. So we have the headset, they lent us as well these two motion controllers, and the camera, which I don't know if you can see it, it's on top of the TV there. So this is on loan, of course we have to give it back. But here are my thoughts. So first thing, virtual reality is expensive, but I think we already know that. But if you're looking to get, if you already have a PlayStation 4 and you're looking to get into virtual reality, this whole headset, at least in Canada, will come close to $1,000 after tax. A headset alone is roughly in the $600 range. I can put the exact price range down here. You're looking at over $100 for these two controllers. And honestly, this really adds so much to the experience. You're probably going to need it for half of the games that are worthwhile. And then if you don't already have the camera, you're looking at another close to $100 after tax and all that. So overall, you can get this in a starter kit, but be warned, it's expensive. And then that doesn't even include the cost of buying your software. And without getting into too much details of the software, I find virtual reality is not something that you can necessarily sit in for 3-4 hours the way that you can sit in on a PC game or a console game. I feel virtual reality is really best enjoyed in 30-minute experiences. And after that, there's not much. Unless it's a very engaging game, then you can go in for an hour easily. But after that, it just feels weird being in that world. And I don't know, I felt the games weren't just stimulating enough to want to be in there for longer than an hour. But we'll get into the games in more details later. Now, looking at the headset itself, it's really light. It's very comfortable on your head. So you do have a button in the back which lets you adjust it to your head. So the way that you would put it is pretty much you just sit on the top of your head, get it in position, and then you have this little wheel here that lets you tighten it to your head. So no matter what your head shape is, you should be pretty good to go in terms of strapping this to your head. Now the next component, once you have that on your head, this part here is going to be floating in front of your face or your eyes. And there's actually a button down here, which is actually pretty good. Let me see if I can get that on camera for you guys. That lets you pretty much move it in and move it out. And that's great because when you're still trying to, get your controller, get the game started, it's good to have the headset further away from your eyes so you can actually see your hands, see your controller, see what you're doing. And then when you bring it up closer, it actually, you actually dive into virtual reality. Now, aside that, you've also got kind of this rubber, let's see if we can get a better shot on that. You got a whole rubber coating around here to kind of seal the light and make sure that there's no light getting in. Other than that, you also have, as part of the headset, this is where you would put your earphones basically. You can control that. This is where you power it. Overall, the headset, I have no complaints. It's really good. At first, I was thrown off that I needed my glasses while wearing the headset. You'd think that because it's close to your face, you don't need your glasses. But when I took my glasses off, put the headset on, I couldn't see a thing. So this, for lack of a better word, basically simulates that distance. So if you're someone who's nearsighted, as in you can't see clearly far away, such as myself, you will need your glasses when playing virtual reality or when you're playing PlayStation VR. And at first, honestly, I did not enjoy that. I felt that I couldn't get the lens inside the headset close enough to my face. Like it was really clear if I put pressure and I let go and my glasses would push off a bit, and then it was just a little bit blurry. But after some fine adjustment and wiping down the lens, my glasses, it actually worked. And after the first few days, I got used to it. So that complaint is no longer valid. So if you have glasses, don't worry. The headset fits very comfortably around glasses. And these glasses are pretty big too. So I think it's going to be comfortable for most people. Other thing to note is space. This I don't think was stressed enough. But if you live in a small home, such as myself, and you don't have a very large living room, space is going to be a huge problem because you actually need roughly, I think they say 6 feet wide by 10 feet deep of clear space to play PlayStation VR comfortably. And I have a very narrow path here. I don't know if you can see it, but I have to play at an angle. And it's just very uncomfortable for me to play here, and there's no other place in my home. So if you don't have a lot of space, this might be a problem. Another thing about space is the PlayStation VR takes a ton of wires. So of course there's a headset that is wired, and then you've got two HDMIs that come out of the headset. As you can see here, it goes into this extension cable, because you need the extension cable to go from the TV to where you're sitting, which is usually 9 feet away from the TV. So you got this long cable going across your living room, and that goes into a processing unit, which is on the floor right now. I can't show you. And there's about 5 or 6 wires coming out of that processing unit, interfacing with your TV, your PlayStation 4, and it's really kind of a pain to get that all under control. It's really messy, and it's something I honestly don't like seeing in my living room. So that's something to keep in mind. Space is very limited, so be sure to plan before buying your PlayStation VR, especially since it is expensive. Other than that, everything else was pretty good too. These controllers, obviously not new, they've been around the block for quite a few years, but they really do shine in virtual reality. I'll get into more detail into my game reviews, but pretty much playing with the PlayStation Move in virtual reality is super intuitive. It basically simulates your hand. When you push down on the triggers, you've got, your hands are moving in virtual reality. It's very intuitive to grab things, look at them, even eat them. And then other games, you're actually using it as a pointer, and then you can actually manipulate things in real time. And of course the PlayStation Move, I'm sure you've held it at one point. It's very light. You can actually, it doesn't take AA batteries, so you can recharge through the USB port, or micro USB port, sorry. So overall, the hardware is good. And as for the virtual reality experience, I think that's best left to the games itself, as they are very vast experiences. But to sum it up, the hardware is good. It's comfortable. The whole thing is expensive. It takes up a lot of room. If you're getting into virtual reality, do take a look at all of your options, because there are quite a few headsets now. And this video is not meant to really compare this headset to the others. It's just to evaluate it as standalone. And as standalone, it does a very great job. It's super immersive, and I have no complaints other than the room and the price. So let me know down in the comments below if you've already picked up the PlayStation VR, or if you think you will be picking it up. And if you need another video to help you make your decision, do head over. I'll post this somewhere around here to check out our 15 game review of PlayStation VR launch titles. I'll see you guys next time, and do keep it to PlayStation enthusiasts.